Superman has been a really special part of my childhood. While Batman the Animated Series was my entry point, Superman the Animated Series followed closely when it started airing on Cartoon Network. 2001 was all about Batman for me, but 2002 was the year of Superman. Action figures, my choice of friends, my birthday cake, bed linen and towels, school cosplay, literally everything that year was just Superman. And now it feels like 2002 all over again. I want to start this video by dedicating it to the most special person in my life right now, my Nani. She was a huge part of nurturing my love for these characters. She would hunt down fun school action figures before visiting us. And remember, this was pre-Amazon, long before online shopping was even a thing. She'd visit toy stores, find these figures, give me a call on the sly, landline to landline, describe them in great detail, and 7-year-old me would understand every single thing. Our communication, it was spot on. This entire story, it's not just about why Superman is special, but also about who made it so meaningful. And even more importantly, it is about the gravity of this film for me. Watching it now as a 30-year-old in this chaotic world. So look out and come fly with me. DC's been a massive part of our childhoods. All of us have seen a cartoon, an animated movie, or at least bumped into some merch in stores. In India, TV and films were the dominant way that we got to know about these characters and this world of DC. And the comics, they were either super expensive or really hard to come by. Even today, it is far easier to get into Marvel's digital comics through Marvel Unlimited than it is to get into DC, because DC Infinite still isn't available in India. God, I don't know why. And just in case you're looking to get into Marvel Comics, I'm going to post the Marvel Unlimited link in the description below. Definitely check it out. It changed my life. I don't think I have honestly ever read a Superman comic in my life. Batman, heaps of them. The Long Halloween, Hush, Year One, Court of Owls, Dark Knight Returns, A Death in the Family, but Superman never really made the cut. Priorities, when you're working part-time at a cafe, getting peanuts for a salary.
And you were only gonna pay me 30? You're getting 30 grand? I'm getting 1,000!
But you guys are getting paid?
So going into this movie, my Superman references were limited to the Christopher Reeve movies, 1993's Lois and Clark TV show, Superman the Animated Series, Justice League, a few animated films like Batman and Superman Public Enemies, and of course the Snyderverse. Despite that, I still knew some core essentials: his origin, powers, personality, ideology, and values. And honestly, that was more than enough. So even if you're someone who is interested yet anxious about going and watching this movie in a theater, don't worry. Just ask the geek sitting next to you. Trust me, this movie works for everyone, whether you're a long-time fan or whether this is your first encounter with Superman. Now, a couple of disclaimers before we fly into this video. This video will have spoilers. If you're avoiding them, save this video for later, and you can check out the other Superman videos that I've done over the weeks. Links are in the description. The second disclaimer, this video is all about the good stuff. My critiques are coming in part 2, so hit that subscribe button so you get notified as soon as part 2 is out. Now, there were so many things that I absolutely loved in this movie, but I've really had to restrict myself to just 4 points. Here's the first one. I'd really be committing a crime if I didn't start with the script first. James Gunn's biggest strength is his ability to bring the mundane and the wacky to life with depth and heart. He's known for creating these quirky, relatable, lovable characters and give them dialogue that feels so natural, not preachy. And for Superman, getting that tone right was so crucial, because there's a very thin line between being profound and being cheesy, and this script walked that line to perfection. There were some very rich moments in this film that had me on the verge of tears. Not out of sadness, but because the heart of the film tugged at me. Now, there were 3 absolute standout moments in the film where the script really shone through and it brought the best out of the characters on the screen. Please remember, I've just watched this movie in the theater once, so I am paraphrasing a lot of these dialogues. The first one was when Krypto gets kidnapped and Superman is talking to Lois. Now, in that moment, Superman says to to Lois. He's a dog, probably not a good one, but he's alone and probably scared right now, and I need to find him. And this dialogue honestly just brought out that how much does this character care about others. Like, he is really a character who's willing to put everyone else before him, and he just wants to do right by everyone. Now, the second standout moment for me, and this was right after the final battle, when he confronts Lex and admits that he's imperfect, scared, and full of doubt. And honestly, that scene reminded me a lot of that Colossus dialogue from the first Deadpool.
Everyone thinks it's a full-time job. Wake up a hero, brush your teeth a hero, go to work a hero. Not true. There are only 4 or 5 moments that really matter. Moments when you're offered a choice. To make a sacrifice, conquer a flaw, save a friend, spare an enemy.
Although this scene did not end that violently, thank goodness for that. But again, I love this moment just because this moment actually emphasized on the man in Superman. It showed how an all-powerful being like Superman is still vulnerable, still has an imposter syndrome, still goes through a lot of the things that you and I go through every single day. And then my third was that Lex dialogue. So, when Superman defeats Ultraman and he takes over his wireless headset and he starts talking to Lex, and he's like, you run on envy. And in that moment, Lex Luthor just flies off the handle. And that moment again seemed heavily inspired by Jack Nicholson's dialogue from A Few Good Men.
You don't have to answer that question.
I'll answer the question. You want answers?
I think I'm entitled.
You want answers?
I want the truth!
You can't handle the truth!
Talking about envy, identity, what drives him. What that scene and what that dialogue really did was it painted this entire picture that Lex is such a petty character and he is so hollow and so shallow. I mean, I just loved it. Golu didn't, by the way, but I'll talk more about that in part 2. Now, the characters and their interactions in this movie were pure gold. With James Gunn, you're getting these punchy dialogues and these really layered characters. Just look at his work. Guardians of the Galaxy, The Suicide Squad, Peacemaker, Creature Commandos. The man knows how to make you care about anyone. Groot, Yondu, Rocket, Polka Dot Man, Ratcatcher 2, Peacemaker, G.I. Robot, and now a whole new league of misfits. Superman in this movie, he's kind, moral, grounded, and not even once does he feel preachy. And in our post-gritty cinema world, that is an absolute miracle. Lois Lane isn't a damsel in distress. She challenges Superman ideologically, rescues him from the pocket universe, and holds her own. Mr. Terrific is this ultra cool guy who's calm and effective in his methods. Guy Gardner is unhinged, hilarious, and flimsy. Although I would love to see him having a beer with Peacemaker and just listen in on what that conversation could be, because both of them are just absolute maniacs. Metamorpho in the movie, he's a really kind soul and a real softie who somehow reminded me of Bob from the Thunderbolts. Just in case you haven't watched that video, please give it a watch. And Clark Kent's best friend Jimmy Olsen, he finally gets moments to shine beyond just being his buddy. And a big shout out to Malik the hot dog guy and that Jarhanpur kid who was holding up the flag, because both of them exemplified what hope and humanity really mean. Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground, and now I want to talk about the real MVP. Come closer. It is Crypto the good boy. He's goofy, he's moody, he's mischievous, full of heart. Every time he was on the screen, I had the biggest smile on my face. If you saw my Superman preview video, you'd know I was really worried about this turning into a team-up movie, but thankfully no. James Gunn gave every character their moments to really shine through, but it was still a through and through Superman movie. Now, the third thing that I absolutely loved were the visuals in this movie. This movie popped off the screen in almost every possible way. Metropolis felt alive. It was bright, it was golden, it was vibrant. Unlike Dawn of Justice, where it was really a challenge to distinguish Metropolis from Gotham, Here, I think he did a fantastic job of creating this golden city of opportunities, applying that 60s Art Deco architecture that really caught your attention and it made you feel like the city was living and breathing. Metropolis was essentially a character in its own regard with its own identity, and that was so nice to see. I also absolutely adored the color grading on this film. One of the biggest things I've had against the Snyderverse was just how saturated all the colors were, and really none of the costumes or none of the production sets or the designs really popped up from the screen. But you look at this movie and it's bright and vibrant. You feel the rich reds and the light blues. Every single thing that is on the screen is shining through in its own regard. And here's one thing that I noticed. I probably wouldn't have noticed this thing if I wasn't watching this in IMAX. Now, if you caught that, please hit me up in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts on that decision. And that was that the entire movie had a grainy gradient to it through all the scenes from beginning to the end. And I wasn't sure, so I googled it later, and it turns out that director James Gunn and DOP Henry Ibrahim added it intentionally to echo a retro vibe, kind of like a throwback to the 70s Superman. And I loved that move. Now, one thing that I heard a lot of people say about this movie was it felt like a true comic book movie, and every scene felt like a comic panel unto itself. And I completely agree with that. Just check this out, for example. Also, the final thing in this section now. Superman gets his powers from the sun, right? So why did it feel so overcast in the Snyderverse all the time? Thankfully, in this movie, the sun is everywhere. Every fight outside the Pocket Universe, whether it's with the Kaiju or the Hammer of Boravia, you have this very prominent solar glare shining through from a corner of your screen, and that thing just adds another layer to that visual storytelling and absolutely reinforces the tone of being bright, being hopeful, and being inspiring. Drop your favorite visual moments down in the comments below. I'd love to hear about what was your favorite part. Now, the final thing that I absolutely loved in this movie was the Boravian invasion, and honestly, it was a very bold move. Now, if you're aware of the conflicts going on in the real world right now, especially the Middle East, this part of the movie hits really hard. Sure, the movie's all fictional, but it's clearly a metaphor. And making that statement in a film this big with a character so iconic, it takes guts. Truly inspiring. Just think about it. In the current political scenario, an American filmmaker used this platform to say something very important about how personal agenda and profits are coming at the cost of human lives. And if this is how Gunn decides to carry forward with DC, I'm seriously considering switching my allegiance. Please let me know what your thoughts are on that political layer in Superman. I loved every bit of this movie. Truly, I went in excited and it met, even exceeded my expectations. And I'll admit, I was biased. I was biased from the moment that first teaser for this movie dropped, and I've been rooting for this movie since then. So once this video is done, I'm just going to give Snyder fan Golu a call and get a reality check and get his thoughts on what he felt about this movie. I will say this. Is this a perfect movie? It's not. Art shouldn't be perfect. Everyone will like or dislike different things, and that's totally okay. But what we cannot deny is the social and the cultural impact of this film. Just think about it for a second. How many movies lately have just been about rage, revenge, and glorifying violence? A lot, right? But this one, it made people want to be good. Instagram, Reddit, comments, threads, people are being nice. It's actually scary, but it's real. And here's something else. According to Comic on Instagram, brilliant channel by the way, link is in the description, give it a follow. There's been a 513% increase in Google search for adopt a dog near me. And even James Gunn shared it on his Instagram. Now just pause for a second and really think about it. That's more than a good film. That's a film with impact. I admit, Superman might not be everyone's cuppa, but it is undeniably spreading joy, spreading kindness, and a whole lot of empathy around the world. And that's the kind of launch that the DCU really needed. Like always, thank you so much for your time, guys. I hope this video gave you a new lens or highlighted something you might have missed. If you liked it, please hit that like button, share it with your friends, share your thoughts with me in the comments below. And remember, this was just part 1. Part 2 goes into all the stuff that didn't land really well. So please subscribe so you get notified as soon as that video drops. Until next time, this is the Millennial Bard signing off.